Speaking of expansions and WWE specifically, so this week I believe Triple H had a conference call just to discuss the future of NXT UK because that's been a big question mark. They have not done anything during this pandemic. They haven't done any live shows. They haven't taped anything new just because WWE and NXT, they're all based here in America, and when they do tapings over at NXT UK, they send everyone over, fly over there, record a bunch of stuff, and then that's what they put on the network for weeks on end. So NXT UK, Richard, if I remember correctly, it's been a lot of just like best of shows and like highlights and clip shows. Am I right?
Yeah, and wrestlers' picks. So it's, their favorite matches and whatnot.
And yeah, so that can only, I think, last for so long as far as, unless you really want to tune in and see what so-and-so picked as their favorite matches, when you can watch a lot of this stuff on your own.
And you can always watch Walter versus Tyler Bate from NXT UK in Cardiff from last year.
There's only so many times we could watch that. So, but with that, so there was a lot of question marks surrounding NXT UK's future. Will the pandemic kind of just put an end to NXT UK's future, and then will this also maybe put a stop on NXT's just global expansion? But Triple H did a conference call and officially announced no, there's no plans to shut down NXT UK, the performance over there, and their goals of still expanding the NXT brand around the world is still very much alive and well. So, Richard, what's your reaction to Triple H and NXT's goals of still wanting to expand?
I think it's great. I think it's the most positive news to come out of the last week because I might not watch NXT UK every week, but I will not miss a NXT UK takeover. And, I can catch myself up pretty quick because it's only an hour show anyway.
Yeah.
So very good news. And it's also shows you how seriously Triple H takes this and takes the expansion, because had it gone away, I think the expansion topic would be on the back burner for another year or two before they were even talking about it again. So this kind of makes you feel when things go back to normal that it's business as usual, and they're still working towards that NXT Japan next.
Yeah, that's something that's been a rumor for a long time as far as NXT wants to expand and go to different parts of the world. So NXT UK was the first venture of this idea, and then I guess they still want to do eventually NXT Japan, NXT Mexico, and NXT India. Right, Tommy? Is that what you're saying?
India.
India, and I think that kind of goes with a lot of the stuff they've been doing. In the
well,
middle.
Wasn't there a rumor that Noah? They wanted to purchase Noah and have that as NXT Japan?
Yeah, that was, I think, a rumor as well that Triple H, I think, was looking as far as to get the ball rolling on NXT Japan was to buy the promotion Noah.
Right.
But then, Richard, also, I think, if I remember correctly, Noah had said, no, we don't want to. They refused to be bought out. And then they just, announced they're working with another promotion over there?
Yeah, I believe it's
DDT?
DDT, correct.
Yeah, so it looks like, over in Japan, all these promotions are firmly putting their foot in the ground and says, no, we'll do our own thing. We don't need WWE's involvement. So I'm really curious to see how WWE will plan on trying to expand into the Japanese territories.
It's going to be interesting because I think it's going to be somewhat of a bloodbath.
Yes, it's definitely, it's going to be really interesting. But I will say this, the one kind of silver lining, while I'm happy to see the announcement of NXT UK sticking around, is for Walter's sake, the current NXT UK champion. And it's actually been coming out recently, another rumor as far as with Walter's status. He, I think, has been kind of vocal that he just wants to stay overseas. He just wants to work NXT UK. He has no plans or desires to move to the US and move up maybe to the NXT television show and then eventually Raw or SmackDown. He has no desire to come to America and be moved up or promoted to a call up to one of the other shows. He wants to stay in NXT UK. So, Richard, what's your initial kind of reaction to hear that Walter, he wants to stay overseas and keep doing his thing over there?
I think that's great. I think at the same time, Walter hasn't had a serious discussion with Vince McMahon yet, and doesn't know how many zeros can be added to a paycheck.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
You can come out and say something like that, but come on.
Money talks.
If Vince McMahon sees Andre the Giant in him, then he's going to be wealthy.
That's my thing is, like, I think apparently, Walter's happy where he's at over there. I guess he also runs like a training school that he's very close with. So I don't know, we don't know Walter personally and what's his mindset. I'm sure for him, maybe it might be kind of an inconvenience to kind of pick up everything and move halfway around the world and start over. But then again, you're only young once. You make someone enough money that they can move their family to the States and then, rake in all that money, then so be it. Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, you're only young once, you're only in your prime once. So I know this is something that Stone Cold said many times. Make your money while you can, and then, at the end of the day, when you can retire or whatever, then go back and enjoy life wherever you want to. So with Walter, I feel like, while I kind of respect how he wants to stay in NXT UK and just really thrive there, I feel like he'll eventually hit his ceiling there. And like, I don't want him to be one of the biggest what ifs. Like, what if he would have done this or that? I would totally geek out to see what he can do on NXT Prime, I guess we can call it, the regular NXT.
Goddamn, pal.
But dealing with the roster here, and then eventually, go to Raw or SmackDown and put on matches with, who knows, Braun Strowman or The Fiend or
Keith Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to. I don't think it would be a smart move on his part to kind of limit himself. I think for his own legacy and what he can do, it would be amazing to see what he can do when it comes to America. So, as you said, money talks.
I think the way you get him to do that is you book it old school, where he comes in for 3-4 months.
Okay.
And he makes main roster money for 3 or 4 months, and then they send him back. So, he gets a taste of the good life.
Yeah.
And, that gives him something to think about. Because let's be honest, he's never made the money that he could be making.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's easy to talk about wanting to stay overseas, but until the opportunity rises where he can actually, make
because who's his competition right now? Like, he has great matches with everyone, but like, he doesn't have an equal over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Walter is the big fish in a small pond.
Exactly. So, no, he's crushing over there. So I think, like I said, he'll eventually hit his ceiling. He's already been champion for over a year now. And so it's like I would think he wants new challenges. So I think, while, like I said, like, I'm happy to see NXT UK sticking around. And I'm sure for Walter's sake, he's extremely happy because this keeps him, staying over there. But I think at the end of the day, while NXT UK can live on, Walter himself needs to come over to the US and just keep expanding on his legacy and hand out some chops to the NXT Raw and SmackDown roster at some point. I'll be looking forward to that.